to take my apple?
Well, I just couldn't help it. This apple is so much good and so much healthier than mine. Why did you get it?
Well, I'm not glad you took my apple, but I am glad you asked that question. You see, this apple is from my garden where I use worm compost to grow everything.
What? You know. What is worm compost?
Worm compost is the food scraps that worms eat and turns into compost. Let me show you.
Where did your food go?
Well, that doesn't matter now. What matters now is that this bin may seem all normal, but inside are hundreds of tiny worms that are digesting our food scraps and making it into compost that is great for the plants. See, you could say that these worms are compost machines.
What is so great about this compost?
See, this is good for the environment because it helps us divert our food waste from the landfills. It's good for us because it's cheap and it's natural. It's good for the plants because, see, it's healthy for them, just like how vegetables are healthy for us, and they need to eat something too, and it's chemical free.
The technology looks complicated.
It's not complicated at all, actually. See, this is actually very cheap and very easy to make. See, all you need to make your worm bin is 2 rubber bins, some worms, some topsoil, some food scraps, newspaper, and a power drill. And that's all you need to make your worm bin, and now let me show you how.
You take the bin and drill 1/4-inch hole all over the worm to breathe. Drill hole at the bottom of any extra water. Rip up or shred the paper into little pieces and fill the bin. This will be the home for worms. Add a little bit of water to the paper just to make it a little bit moist, not too wet. Add worm to the bottom and close the lid because the worm does not like light. Put your worm bin into the second bin over the rock so there is a space for any extra water to flow through. Leave it for a day and then feed the worms a handful or small food scrap in one corner of the bin and cover it with paper. This is important because the worms will go wherever you put the food and the paper will stop the bin from getting smelly. Worms will eat half of their weight in food per day. So 1/2 pound of worms mean 1/4 pounds of food per day. Check the bin every few days, and when you notice your food's getting eaten, add some more in different corners of the bin the worm will move. In about 3 months, when the worms have eaten a lot, it's time to harvest the worm compost. Push aside everything in the worm bin on one side, fill with paper again, and hide the food on the fresh side and leave it. Over 2 weeks, the worm will travel to the fresh side. You can then collect the compost and put it directly on the topsoil of a plant or mix it into soil when you're potting a plant. You could also make compost tea, but it's a whole other adventure.